Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Jessica M. Thompson about The Invitation, which is going to be in theaters August 26th. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome, Katie. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is a great film. One of my favorite things about this is I'm a big horror movie fan. This film really combines the traditional and non-traditional elements of horror, in my opinion. It's got the jump scares, it's got the gore, but it has those kind of uncomfortable conversations between characters that makes you go, hey, like, why is he saying that? Or why is she saying that? I'm wondering if that just happens, or is that premeditated a little bit, blending those traditional elements and non-traditional elements?
I tell you, it is all thought out. None of this is spontaneous. It's been truly considered. Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I love kind of all types of genre films. I love all types of horror films, from body horror, Cronenberg style, to more sophisticated like Kubrick and The Shining, more subtle. And I really wanted to incorporate all that, and also like add a bit of comedy, add a bit of romance. To me, this is like a film for everyone. It's got a lot of Easter eggs in there, a lot of little nods to Bram Stoker's Dracula that I think true horror aficionados will love and appreciate.
Is that kind of something too with, Dracula, where there is familiarity because people know the tale of Dracula and everything, but then it's kind of like a unique new world as well with The Invitation, where, we're kind of thrown in this amazing castle and the scenery and everything. That's really cool as well, right? Where there's familiarity, but also kind of a new world as well.
Yeah, I mean, you get to play. The sandbox doubled the size now, right? So if you're going to make a traditional adaptation, I mean, you're so limited. But what I love about this film, what I was drawn to in the original script, was that it is a modern interpretation, a modern origin story of a Bride of Dracula. And that to me hadn't been done before. It hasn't been done on the big screen as far as I know. And that's so exciting. You've got so much to pull from, right? You've got a classic book here, but you've got so many other films. You've got so many, and I hope everyone comes into the film with an open mind and really goes for the ride, because I think there's a lot of fun to be had.
You mentioned that you're a big fan of the genre horror as well. The landscape for horror has never been bigger. It's massive. People love horror films. What's it like working on a film at a time where the appetite for anything horror thriller is so massive right now?
I mean, it's great. I mean, what a joy. This has been a dream of mine since I was young. I decided I wanted to be a filmmaker when I was 12, and I never shied away from it. I've always been working towards it. And horror, I mean, the horror audiences, for one, are just some of the most fun in the world. They just are such big fans. They really want you to surprise them. They really want you to find fresh new ways to either deliver traditional material or brand new material. And I think that's like, what a fun world to play in. And what I love is that now with the Ari Asters and the Robert Eggers and the Jordan Peels of the world, we're really like pushing the boundaries. And that's a refreshing place to be in.
It's dropping in theaters August 26th. I can't wait for people to see what it looks like in the scenery and the aesthetic of The Invitation. Talk a little bit about filming in that location and the castle. I mean, it's just pure eye candy, Jessica.
I know, isn't it crazy? I felt so lucky. We got to film in Hungary, and obviously we needed to make Hungary look like the English countryside. And as soon as I saw that castle, I knew 100%, the 18th century castle, I was like, this is it. This is the one. And then when I found out that the castle was built by the great-great-grandson of Madame Bathory, who what people called Countess Dracula, or the Blood Countess, because she used to bathe in the blood of virgins. I was like, oh, we can't look at any other castles. This is the castle we need to film in. And it's so sumptuous. It's a visual feast. And I got to work with these incredible heads of department, my cinematographer, Automake, and we just went to town with the lighting, and we really, created this cinematic feast for you all to dine on. It's really one of those films that I think is best watched in a cinema.
I agree. And I'm just from the audience members seeing it, it seems big and massive. I can't even imagine the crew showing up, like looking up, like, was it kind of one of those like, oh my God, this is a big castle?
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely like, it's breathtaking. Oh, I wanted to sleep in it, just to like have fun. To like, how cool would that be to sleep in a castle? But it was also a little bit creepy, so I decided not to. But yeah, with the crew, we all had such a great time filming this.
And Natalie does an amazing job of Evie. This character is kind of just thrown in a situation where she's doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of self-reflection. During the pandemic, we have all been doing a lot of soul searching and self-reflection. What were those conversations like with Natalie about Evie's kind of path, about kind of just getting thrown in, but kind of almost like dissecting and playing detective work of every little thing of going on in this film? Because I feel like the whole film, she's very quickly catching on that, okay, this is not what it seems to be.
Yeah, I mean, she's an incredibly smart human, Evie, and she's switched on. But of course, when you have someone who's this supernatural being who's trying, he basically, what we find out in the end, I mean, spoiler, is that, he needs her in order to survive. So he's going to do everything within his power. And she's really coming up against a powerful force here, the oldest, most powerful force. But yeah, Natalie, she's someone who dives right into her roles, whether it's Missandei or Game of Thrones or any of her roles. And she really brings a lot of layers to them. She asks a lot of questions. She has a lot of thoughts, and I love collaborating with her and kind of really getting down to the nitty gritty and the nuance of the character.
And in this film, Thomas says a lot by not saying anything at all. I don't know if you agree with me on that. You know what I mean? He just walks in a room and it's like, oh my goodness.
I know, absolutely. The whole audience, absolutely. I love watching the test audiences and seeing them like hold their breath when he comes in. Whether you're a man, woman, straight, gay, he's just like, there's something about Thomas Doherty.
He just shows up and everything. And before we wrap up quickly, when they get a chance to go see the film, you touched on it a little bit. You hope they go see the cinema, just like the scenery and the story. Anything else takeaway wise you hope they get out of it when they watch The Invitation?
Yeah, I mean, go in for the ride, be open-minded, it's got a lot to offer. It's not a traditional horror, but it's also got plenty of scares in there. But also there's over 90 Easter eggs, like I said, from lots of different horror films, and see if you can find them all. But yeah, just enjoy it. And I think it's a great film, and like something that visually is a visual feast and also a sonic feast as well.
Jessica, thank you so much for your time. August 26th in theaters, The Invitation. People are going to be able to see it. This was so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Petey. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.